All right, so this is going to be a review of 65. It came out earlier this year. I didn't get the chance to see it in the theater. It's directed by Scott Beck and Brian Woods. I saw that they've done some horror movies. They wrote like A Quiet Place 1 and 2, so they've done some other things. I don't think anybody liked this because every review that I've come across has been negative. So, there's that. We'll get into that though. I'll get into how I feel about it in a second. So it's Mills, played by Adam Driver. He's a pilot for a transport ship. I guess he's transporting people from place to place. I guess that's his job. They're in cryo sleep while he's doing that. And he's going to be away from his wife and his daughter for 2 years, which he doesn't want to be, but his daughter is sick. And with the money that he gets from these things, he's able to put towards, curing his daughter. So he's flying the transport ship. He hits some asteroids. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. He hit some asteroids and crash lands into prehistoric Earth. That's why it's called 65. 65 million years ago, dinosaurs walked the Earth and things like that. So everybody else is dead on the ship except for Mills, Adam Driver, and Koa, Ariana Greenblatt, played by Ariana Greenblatt. And so they have to work together and find their way over to another aspect of the ship that it has an escape ship on it. So they need to get to that, but they have to run away from / fight a bunch of dinosaurs to get there. I thought this was going to be worse than it actually ended up being, at least for me. Right? I thought it was just going to be trash. Like I'm going to be miserable watching it. But even though it is boring, like people have said, it's definitely boring in parts. There were definitely positives I saw here, right? More than I thought there would be. Like Adam Driver and Ariana Greenblatt, I thought their performance was really good, actually. It's mostly on their shoulders when it comes to acting because everything else is just CG dinosaurs and they're just walking through the woods. But I think they do a really good job. There's certain moments where they have to be playful with one another as they're starting to bond. Those were kind of touching. They do work together. She's more of like a Ellie from Last of Us, where she does help. She's not just there to be protected. Especially at the end, she does something really good against a dinosaur that's attacking them, and she can actually be helpful. She saves him a couple of times in this movie. So their interactions I thought worked, even though they have the language barrier thing, which I'll get into a little bit more. And I think the dinosaurs look good. They look real for the most part. The sci-fi elements of it, like the ship, the spacesuit that he's wearing, all that also looks pretty cool. Right? The sci-fi tech that he's using actually looks like it is a real thing, other than his gun, which looks a little bit too much like a prop. But other than that, I think those elements also work. It's shot well, right? Visually, it looks good. It looks prehistoric. It does build the setting, I think. There are elements of this that I was kind of entertained by. There was a point because there are some tense moments in here where the girl Koa is she falls down next to some pterodactyls or whatever, and she's trying to crawl away from them before they see him. There's some tense moments in here that I think actually do work. It does kind of just feel like Adam Driver's just running around away from dinosaurs. Because when you go into the actual story, it's just weak, right? Like the stuff with the daughter kind of feels just kind of tacked on. Every now and then he has little visions of her. You have that part at the very beginning with him and his wife and his daughter on the beach of whatever planet they live on, and the line delivery isn't very good, the dialogue isn't very good, and it almost felt like a reshoot. Like it felt tacked on. Like you didn't really need it because it didn't give you enough context or invest you enough in their relationship to matter all that much. And I thought that you could show a little bit more, show his boss, show more about his job, show give more background on the character, but they didn't do that. It's just a conversation with the wife and the daughter. You never see the wife again, and I didn't think that really meant all that much, to be honest. There's this language barrier between Mills and Koa where she can't understand him and things like that. But I was like, well, is he actually speaking English then? Because that doesn't make sense. I guess maybe he's speaking another language that's being translated to us, the audience. But it is weird that she's speaking another language and he's not. And he's like trying to get her to say, family. He's drawing things for her and she's kind of picking up on certain words. And it's like, it does kind of throw you off. And he has all this sci-fi stuff. Why the hell doesn't he have a translator? It's like it's stuff like that that doesn't make sense. You have at the same time where he's trying to call in to get help, he's also trying to get to this very convenient escape ship that I guess is still at least mostly intact. At first he can't find it, and then almost immediately he's able to find it with some gadget that he has. I was like, okay, I thought he was gonna have to like scour the place to get it. I thought, you were really building to something here, but you're really not, right? They need to go to some mountain or whatever and try not to get eaten on the way, and that's pretty much it. It just feels like there's just not much to this, and it drags at points because of it. It takes like pacing wise, it takes like 30 minutes for them to fully go on this journey to go to this thing, right? And then they introduce the asteroid coming down at some point, and right before they're about to get off, so that you can introduce a race against time to the movie. And it's like you don't really need that, and it's just I don't know. It felt aimless a lot of the times, where it's like I'm not really invested in the goal or what's going on here, right? I like the characters. I think the performances are good, but there's not much other than that. These flashbacks of his daughter, I didn't really care because the daughter's performance isn't very good and the dialogue they give her isn't very good. She acts a lot younger than she is. Like, oh, daddy, look what I made. It's a plane. Woo. And I was like, that doesn't fit because she looks like she's like a preteen or a teenager. I don't know how old she's supposed to be, but she looks too old to be acting like that. So they have this whole thing where he blows into his hands and that's supposed to be a big thing. And, honestly, if that didn't come back again, I would have thought that beginning scene on the beach was a reshoot because it just felt so tacked on. But when it gets just really bad, I really didn't care for that asteroid thing. But when it gets really bad, and this is a spoiler, when it gets really bad is there's a moment, because there's this whole thing throughout the movie where he tells her that her family is in this other place of the ship, so when they go there, she will see her family again. Obviously he's lying. But she believes him. They go there. She realizes that he lied to her, and then he pulls out a picture of his daughter and he's like, well, no, my daughter was very sick, and while I was gone, she died. And I was like, really? She died? It didn't seem like she was dead. Earlier on, you were about to kill yourself, and then you thought about your daughter, and you decided not to do it. So I'm thinking and he keeps thinking about his daughter. I'm thinking he's trying to get to his daughter, right? Even though he's in an impossible situation, he's willing to do whatever it takes to potentially get back to his daughter. But his daughter's dead. When did his daughter die? All right, so she must have already been dead, or he knew she was dead from the beginning part where you see him flying the transport before it crashes. So it's like, but he didn't seem that way, right? It feels like almost like a last minute like thing. It's weird. And then also he has this emotional moment to try to connect with the little girl. Basically, her parents are dead. Hey, my daughter's dead too. But it's completely undercut because she can't understand him. She doesn't even speak the same language. How much is she getting from that? When she's creepily going through the videos of his daughter, how much is she getting from that? She can't understand her. It's like, and that would be fixed if he got over to the other part, the other ship, the other part of the ship, and he found a translator. And at that point, they were able to actually communicate with each other. But he didn't, right? So, it's that was the point where I was like, this is written really badly, and I don't, I didn't even think it would be that hard to fix this. Like maybe another draft or two, and you could have fixed some of these issues and had a stronger movie here. But it's not. It doesn't matter. Anyway, it's still watchable. I don't think it's all that bad. The performances are good with Adam Driver and this actress. There's some cool things here and there with the dinosaurs and the sci-fi tech that he's got and the gun and all that. So there are some good moments in here, but it just ultimately feels uninspired and boring in parts because it feels like look, it's just Adam Driver running away from some dinosaurs, and that's it. And when it comes to the actual story, it's just like it doesn't matter. And the writing is pretty bad in places. So yeah, it just completely was underwhelming to me, but it is still watchable. So I'm gonna give it a rental. I thought about giving it lower than that at points because I was like, this is just dumb. Like the certain aspects of this are just so dumb. I was like, why are you even? Why is the asteroid part of this? Why? But like, why do we have to lead right into the dinosaurs being wiped out? I don't know, but because that felt forced. But whatever. I still like certain parts of it. Like I said, honestly, if Adam Driver and this actress in this weren't as good as they were, this would be much worse for me, even with the other things that worked. But whatever. Rental, that's 65. Subscribe, and we're done.